Hello students, welcome to the lecture series of indirect taxation. Last class we have discussed the problems on determination of GST liability. Today we are going to discuss the problems on supply. The problem is like this, you can refer the slide. Mahindra Brothers, registered in Gujarat, has supplied 30 tons of chemical at rupees 50,000 per ton excluding taxes to P of Uttarakhand on 8th September 2019. The invoice for the supply has also been issued on the same date. Further, following additional amounts were also charged from P. Particulars and rupees they have given: freight 1,10,000, packing charges 1,80,000, weighing charges 20,000, cost of instrument specially purchased by Mahindra Brothers to manufacture the chemical. As per the terms of the contract of supply, Mahindra Brothers is required to get the chemical inspected by an independent testing agency before the delivery of the same to P. P has paid such inspection charges amounting to rupees 12,000 amounting to rupees 12,000 directly to the testing agency. Mahindra Brothers has also received rupees 50 lakh as a subsidy from state government for setting up a chemical manufacturing plant in Gujarat. P is required to make a payment within 50 days of supply in terms of the contract. However, P delayed the payment of consideration and made payment in November 2019, thus paid rupees 15,000 as interest. You are required to calculate GST liability in this case and due date of deposit. Assume the rate of GST is 18%. So note they have given Mahindra Brothers and P are not related and price is the sole consideration for the supply. So in this problem what they have given is Mahindra Brothers, it's a registered company which is situated in Gujarat, supplied 30 tons of chemicals of rupees 50,000 per ton to P of Uttarakhand on 8th September 2019. Okay, the invoice for the supply has been issued on the same date, and they have given freight, packing charges, weighing charges, cost of instrument purchased, and also as per the terms Mahindra Brothers is required to get the chemical inspected by the independent testing agency before the delivery, but P paid the amount of inspection charges, that is 12,000, and Mahindra Brothers also received 50 lakh as a subsidy from the state government, okay, for the setting up of the chemical manufacturing in Gujarat. So, P is required to make a payment of 15 days before, that is within the 15 days of the supply of the goods. But P delayed the payment. The P has made the payment in November 2019 and paid 15,000 as interest because of the delayed payment. So 18% is the GST rate they have given. So note down, you are required to compute the GST liability of Mahindra Brothers for the month of September 2019 and also for the month of November 2019 because of the delayed payment November 2019 also we need to pay, we need to make the tax liability, and also you need to calculate due date for the deposit of GST. So computation of GST liability of Mahindra Brothers. Mahindra Brothers for the month of September 2019. So you need to make two columns, particulars and amount. So price of the chemicals, it has supplied 30 tons for 50,000 rupees. So price of chemicals, ₹50,000 into 30 tons. You can refer the note 2 for this. Note 2 says that as per the section 15(1) of the CGST Act of 2017, the value of the supply is the transaction value, that is price actually paid or payable for the said supply when the supplier and the recipient of the supply are not related and price is the sole consideration for the supply. Here Mahindra brothers and P are not related to each other. So for that reason value of the supply is nothing but price actually paid or payable for the said supply amount. So 50,000 into 30 is 15 lakh. Freight charges, you can refer note 3. Note 3 says that the given supply is a composite supply involving supply of goods, that is chemical, and service, that is freight, where the principal supply is the supply of goods, that means main supply is the supply of goods, that is chemicals. As per section 8A of the CGST Act of 2017, a composite supply is treated as supply of principal supply involved therein and charged to tax accordingly. Thus, tax rate applicable to the goods, that is chemical, has been considered. So, in this case freight charges we need to consider, that is 1,10,000 rupees. 1,10,000. Next, packing charges. You can refer the note 4. The note 4 says that all the incidental expenses including packing charged by the supplier to the recipient of supply are includable in the value of supply in terms of section 15 subsection 2 and C of the CGST Act of 2017. That means all incidental expenses like packing charges supplied by the that means charged by the supplier to the recipient should be included as a value of supply. So we should consider packing charges, that is amount 1,80,000. Weighing charges, you can refer note 4. As I said, all expenses including packing and weighing charges of the supplier to the recipient is includable in the value of supply, that is weighing charges is 20,000. Then cost of special instrument, that is note 5. So note 5 says that any amount charged for anything done by the supplier in respect of the supply of goods at the time of or before delivery of goods is includable in the value of supply. That means the amount which is charged by the supplier in respect of supply of goods at the time of delivery of goods. See, in this case cost of instruments specially purchased by Mahindra company, that is brothers, to manufacture the chemical. So for that reason the cost incurred by the supplier, so we need to consider the cost of special instrument, that is 3,10,000. And inspection charges, inspection charges, you can refer note 6. Note 6 says that any amount that the supplier is liable to pay in relation to supply but incurred by the recipient of supply and not included in the price actually paid for the goods is includable in the value of supply. That means supplier has to pay or bear the inspection charges, but P has paid the amount. So that also we should consider for the computation of GST liability of Mahindra Brothers. That is note 6. That is 12,000. Next, government subsidy. Government subsidy. Note 7. It says that subsidy is not directly linked to the price and provided by the central government and state governments are not includable in the value of supply. Okay, which is not considered. So we are not taking into the government subsidies. So value of taxable supply note 9. Value of taxable supply, we should add all the amount, that is price of the chemicals, freight, packing, weighing, then cost of special instrument, inspection charges. So the notes 9 says that the tax liability for the month of September 2019 will not include the tax payable on the amount of interest as a tax liability for the delayed payment of interest arises on the date of receipt of the interest. That means tax liability which includes only the amount which is directly incidental. So interest charges we should take in the next month. So add these, you will get the answer as from this to this. So you need to add, and 21 lakh 32,000 is the total amount of value of taxable supply. So on this amount we need to put, so value of the taxable supply according to note 9 says that we should add all the values, and the answer is 21 lakh 32,000. GST amount, that is IGST, because the goods is supplied, that is chemical is supplied from Gujarat to Uttarakhand. So it IGST it applies 18%. 18% of 21 lakh 32,000 into 18% gives you the amount 3 lakh 83,760. So total invoice value you should add these two amounts, 21 lakh 32,000 plus 3 lakh 83,760 gives you 25 lakh 15,760. 25 lakh 15,760. Okay. So tax liability for the month of November 2019. So interest for late consideration You can refer the note 8. Note 8 says that interest for the delayed payment of any consideration for any supply is includable in the value of supply. So, in this case, P has paid the interest amount of 15,000, but what we should do is the interest has to be considered as tax value and tax payable thereon has to be computed by making the back calculations. Back calculation we should make because of the delayed payment which we have received. For every problem, if they delayed the payment according to the percentage of IGST, you need to calculate. So that is called as back payment. I will calculate like this. 15,000 is the interest which is paid by the P, multiply by 100 divided by 118. For example, if any problem, if they give 100, that is instead of 18%, if they give 16% or 9%, you have to take, suppose if it is 9%, 100 by 109. Suppose if it is 12%, 100 by 112. So, in this problem, they have given 18% as the IGST. So, back calculation we should make for the interest for the late consideration, that is 15,000 into 100 by 112. So, amount is 12,712. So, IGST payable at 18% on 12,712 into 18% gives you 2,288. So, total value of invoice is total of this gives you 15,000 as the interest amount. So, once again I will explain. Interest for the late consideration, that is note 8 says that interest for the delayed payment of any consideration for any supply is includable in the value of supply, we should include, but the interest has to be considered as a tax value and it is computed by making the back calculations. We call it as back calculation, that is 15,000 into 100 by 118. So, IGST payable is 18% on the interest consideration. Total value of invoice is 15,000 as the interest. This is in the month of November 2019, that is tax liability of Mahindra Brothers. In the same problem, they asked you to find out the due date of deposit. So, due date of deposit is calculated as follows. It includes particulars, time of supply, due date of deposit. You can refer note 12 for this. Note 12 says that as per the section 39 of subsection 1 of CGST Act of 2017, every person registered under regular scheme of payment of tax has to furnish the prescribed return on or before 20th of the succeeding month. So, whatever may be the date, so next month 20th is a due date for the deposit of the amount or payment of the amount. So, further provides that every regular registered person is liable to pay tax due to the government by the last date on which he is required to furnish such return. So, thus GST is liable to be paid on or before 20th of the succeeding month. For example, if the person is paying time of supply in the month of September, next month that is October 20th is the due date of deposit. If he is paying in the November, December 20th is the due date of payment. So in this case, GST liability of rupees 3,83,760, which is IGST, which we have calculated for the taxable supply made by Mahindra Brothers according to note 11. So note 11 says that the time of supply for suppliers of goods having aggregate turnover up to 1.5 crore in the preceding financial year, excluding composition suppliers, will be the time of issue of invoice dated 13th October 2017. Thus, in the present case, time of supply would be the date of issue of invoice. So, September 8th 2019 is considered as the issue of invoice date. So, September 8th 2019 as the invoice of supply has been issued earlier than the date of receipt of the payment. So, for that reason we need to consider time of supply as invoice date, that is September 8, 2019. But whatever may be the date, but month, in the September month, if the time of supply is made, due date of payment is nothing but after September, succeeding month is October 20th is the due date of deposit according to note 12, that is October 20, 2019. Okay, second IGST which we have calculated in the month of November, interest amounting to rupees 2,288, that is note 10 says that according to the note 10, as per the section 12 subsection 6, time of supply in case of addition in value by way of interest for delayed payment of consideration for the goods is the date on which the supplier receives such addition in value. Thus, time of supply of interest received on account of delayed payment consideration is the date of receipt of interest. That means interest amount is nothing but time of supply is nothing but when it is received. So, they have received the interest in the month of November. So, November is considered as time of supply 2019. That means interest for the delayed payment and date on which the supplier receives such addition in the value, that date we should consider. And if we are considered the time of supply as November, succeeding month is December 20th is the due date of payment, that is December 20, 2019 is the due date of payment. So, this is about due date of deposit of GST. Thank you.